Hey, welcome everybody to the Juice is Loose. I'm your host, Terminator Juice, and we got another episode, number 33 of the Juice is Loose podcast. And we got, as I've said before, we're going to mix up the guests every week. So we got a little bit different flavor here. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and take it away.
Yo, man, it's Twilight Bites on the ones and twos, bringing some new flavor. Y'all be cool.
Hello, Coupon Strives here, Gaming Diva, ready to do another podcast. Let's go.
Hey, how's it going? It's me, Mega Gamer, man. Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
He's going to give us, he's the meteorologist over in New York. He's going to give us weather updates throughout.
The weather update today is, well, everything is freaking freezing, so, yeah.
I saw a picture of a guy like cross-country skiing down like a city street.
It's hilarious.
It's
And
crazy.
true, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's snowing right now. I'm not gonna lie.
So
Yeah,
it's,
it is.
I got no snow. It's cold here in Michigan. It's like 10 degrees Fahrenheit, but no snow.
Man, it was 68 degrees and sunny outside today in Baton Rouge,
That's
Louisiana.
perfect. That's perfect time. Coupon, why don't you tell us how your weather is?
Pretty much how Twilight's was. Nice and sunny, you know, a little windy, but, you know, it's a nice wind. Cold.
Southern living.
Yeah.
Southerners.
I never like the hot, so I can never live down south in the
Oh,
sun.
it gets hot too. Oh, yeah.
All right, so real quick before we get into our topics here, the Mario Kart 8 tournament, I missed it last week. I was on Mr. T's podcast. It went late, so I heard there was a pretty good turnout. So I'll definitely be there this week, and that's because I'm going to tell a quick story. A friend of mine, he got a Wii U on Saturday. I've been trying to get him to buy one since Mario Kart 8 came out back in June. He loves Mario Kart. He's played every one, and he's always just been a huge fan. But he's a diehard Call of Duty Xbox 360 guy the last few years with, you know, voice chat and all that. He just loves the social aspect. So I talked him into going to GameStop because there's a cute girl working there, and I was like, man, we should go in there and see if that girl's working. And it was my plan all along because I knew he's very spontaneous. And I knew if I got him in there, then I had a good chance. And he was looking at Xbox 360 controllers, and I was like, man, if you're going to pay $55 for that, why don't you just buy Mario Kart 8 for $60? I mean, geez, that's a way better deal. And he's like, screw it, just give me a Wii U. And that was it. It took him, and I set it up for him. It took about 15 minutes to update. And then the hardest part's really creating the account from scratch and having to confirm your email and all that. But, yeah, I dropped it off at his house, and we played, probably 8 hours that day total. And had a blast. So he's really enjoying it, and so yeah, that was cool. So I'll definitely be in the Mario Kart 8 tournament this Thursday because he's going to be in there, even though he's a newbie, so he's not doing so hot and he's getting pissed. But that's what happens in Mario Kart 8. It's a lot harder than people think. So yeah, got him the DLC. That was kind of my little present to him. Bought him the DLC for Mario Kart 8 and a copy of Smash Brothers. So.
Dang.
It was good, but he works on my car for me, so I kind of owed him.
Oh, well.
Worked out good, and a new Wii U owner, and yeah, I think he's really liking it. So with that being said, I want to get everyone, just 2015 so far, we're almost done with January, and I just wonder what you guys and Gail have been playing since the New Year started. So, Mega, why don't you tell us everything you've been playing, or maybe not everything if it's been more than a few games?
Well, of course, number one, Kingdom Hearts. That's a given. Number two, I've been playing some Smash here and there. Really kind of, I'm rechanging my amiibos because I don't want them doing no more shows again. And also, I am playing. I just got Armillo. It's a really good game, I have to say. Really good indie game. I really would recommend that. And also, I've been playing again Chrono Trigger on the PS3. It's one of the best RPGs, of course. And then, of course, I mean, that's basically about it. Also been playing Mega Man Star Force 3 on the DS, or on the 3DS now, but yeah, it's freaking just awesome. So, yeah.
All right, good mixture there. Coupon, I know you've been packing stuff up, but have you been finding time to play some games?
A little here and there. I just recently uploaded Never Alone, which is it's an interesting little indie title I picked up on the Xbox One. It's really cute, nice, so I would recommend anybody to check it out. It's really cool. I've also been playing some Cloudberry Kingdom, my guilty pleasure, and Rage Quit. I tend to rage a lot on that one, but I don't know, something about it is addicting and calms me down. I don't know how that works, but okay. And I've also been playing some Captain Toad every once in a while, trying to unlock 3D World's, what is it, the Champions Road.
Yeah.
And I just recently finished the mirror mode, so I opened that up. So I was supposed to have gameplay today, but I had other things to do. So hopefully tomorrow. But other than that, I've been kind of chill and just mostly packing.
Cool. And I should mention that we started this podcast in about 45 minutes early. So if someone's watching this replay and wondering how they missed it, that's what happened. Yeah, so sorry about that last minute thing, but I actually like the 7 o'clock start time. I've been doing it at 8 to cater to other people, so I may change it between 7 and 8 depending on the week, so just be warned. But anyway, Twilight, what have you been gaming on?
Oh man, because of the holiday season was so busy and just been busy, I've been getting back to the Wii U games, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a recent breakthrough with Hyrule Warriors on adventure mode, because there was a time where I got too frustrated with it.
Oh yeah.
And I just stopped playing for a while. So I came back to it. And now, I got a new lease on life with it, so I'm just breaking through everything, man. And of course, Smash Brothers is a way of life. So it's gonna be a year before I can finally say, oh yeah, I haven't played Smash Brothers in a while. What else? A little bit of Bayonetta, but I've mostly been just kind of like mad that I gave up my 3DS for that new Monster Hunter 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta wait for that. And I'm mad I haven't been playing the Monster Hunter demo.
Oh, yeah.
But if I could, I'd be playing that right now as well.
Yeah, I played the demo. It felt very similar to the Monster Hunter 3 demo. Yeah,
I'm sure.
Same structure, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But it's online and stuff, huh?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't test that part, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait probably to get my knee through
that
this.
demo. I haven't even touched it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my list is actually the longest of all of us here. So I was expected Mega's to be longer, but going by my Wii U's activity feed, my number one game in 2015 right now is Smash Brothers by a small margin. Just beat out Bayonetta 2 because I was playing Smash with my buddy for a couple hours the other night. And if you guys follow me on Twitter or Google Plus and Miiverse, I've been spamming my successes in Bayonetta 2, getting platinum trophies on Infinite Climax. I'm pretty proud of that. It's very challenging but rewarding.
How do you even do it?
Dodge.
Okay.
Oh, you got to use Rosa as the key because she's got ridiculously strong attacks.
Yeah, I know. I'm such a good character.
Yes, Rosa's a great character. With
Yes,
Bayonetta,
you're a female witch, okay.
yeah. With Bayonetta,
Hey,
or
bro, you gotta always characterize.
I was trying Bayonetta and John, and I couldn't get past the first verse on the first chapter because it's one of those the horse knights, whatever, with the flame sword, and I just couldn't. You get like 20 seconds to beat them, or 25 seconds. I couldn't do it in 20 tries. One try with Rosa, I get pure platinum, so I've been playing with her. But if you get 4 hits, your life's pretty much down. You got to have
that's it.
So there's a trade-off there, and right now I'm on chapter 4. I got 8 pure platinums in a row, but I can't. The Masked Lumen killed me, so I backed out. I cheated. I went. What do they call it? When you go out to the home menu before it's saved. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it again because I was so pissed. I had 8 pure platinums going, and then now I was gonna have it continue. So I gotta I'm gonna watch videos of how to beat him better, so that watch other people play him, so that when I get back on there, I'll be able to hopefully beat him. So, anyway, after that, I
Well,
finally,
at least you're honest.
yeah, I mean, I'll still post the shot, and if I get it, I'll take a freaking bronze as long as I don't have to get a continue on that last verse or a stone. I mean, even if it's a stone, I don't care. But then I was playing Captain Toad. I did a review for that earlier this month. Beat that. Mario Kart 8 actually, I think, had more time than Captain Toad. And then I downloaded this little indie game for $2 called Midnight because it looked like it was like kind of a cool art style, and it's a frickin' Angry Bird style game, except for instead of knocking stuff down, you just have to make it into a little hole. So I was disappointed I did that. Then I've been playing Art of Balance again. That game's really getting really tough. And then this might be blasphemy, but I played GTA 5 for a couple hours yesterday on my 360. I turned my 360 back on after 6 months and updated it, and I played some GTA 5, and I actually had fun playing it. I did 2 missions and drove around and flew around for a while. It was actually a good time. And the last and probably definitely least, I played Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for the first time, and I was not impressed. Titanfall has way better mechanics, and mobility is way better than Titanfall. So that's my list. Went on a little.
I can almost guarantee that Call of Duty is going to start playing a lot more like Titanfall as the future.
I could see that it felt like they at last minute put that double jump in there because it's not very well implemented. And Titanfall is really intuitive, and you just naturally felt right from the beginning. I didn't have to think about it.
Of course, you can freaking parkour off of walls. It's great.
I mean, it felt like more like Metroid Prime's double jump than Call of Duty's feels like you get a really light, like the first jump's your normal jump, and then you hit it again and you go flying in the air. And Titanfall is more 2 equally high jumps, so it just felt more natural. So.
And the whole game is based around that, yeah.
Yeah, you could tell they created the game around that gameplay, not just threw it in at the last minute after, I'm guessing late in the development for Call of Duty. Just a guess, but. So, let's talk about some news here. We had a rumored, possibly leaked information from D1 that there's going to be Splatoon at Apex, the fighting tournament. And that starts, I think, this weekend. And he leaked that, and possibly Mewtwo will be playable for like a testing phase for like almost a beta of Mewtwo. Will be there. I don't know how legit this information is. The Splatoon seemed pretty high. Like the chance seemed like it was going to be there after watching the video. The way he reacted, I don't think he was trolling. I think he really was trying to leak it without leaking it. Real subtle.
I don't think he was trying. I think he just forgot for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that too.
Because he was looking really dejected,
oh,
I almost screwed up. I almost lost everything just now. He might have still lost everything too.
Yeah, he might be out of the inner circle there after that.
Yeah, after that.
So here's my question. Since Apex it's a fighting event, but a lot of those teams have competitive teams of all different genres.
Yeah.
So do you think if it's there, do you think Nintendo's showing it to them, trying to maybe get this to be accepted by the competitive community?
I mean, that's the whole reason why they did the tournament for Smash Brothers last year. You know what I'm saying? And you actually had some people who were like, because Nintendo is behind this game being competitive, we'll go ahead and give it a chance,
Right.
Unlike with Brawl, where they weren't really acknowledging the competitive scene, and so Brawl just got left in the dust. You know what I'm saying? This game, even though it's not to the degree of Melee's, I guess, competitive depth, people are embracing this game a lot more than I thought they would, honestly. And so they're trying to do that with Splatoon, I think. Same thing.
It's so funny because I'm one of those people that I see Melee, like I was watching some footage of something, and it's like I'm seeing that non-wide screen that I'm like, why would you play that when you can play this beautiful Smash 4 and on awesome, you know, in HD on a widescreen TV. It just looks so good. Like, I mean, I'm not
It's
a
not
graphics
about
horror,
that.
but I just like, why would you go back? I don't like to go. I like to play new games more than go back and play and stay, you know, keep playing an old game. I like Metroid. You know, I like the series,
Mm.
but I don't want to. I didn't want to play the original Metroid once Super Metroid came out, and once Metroid Prime came out, I wasn't like dying to go back and play Super Metroid. So it was just kind of that's how I am. So it's funny to see these people still playing Melee after we've had 2 games since then.
Well,
But
I mean, you got people who take themselves very seriously and they're gaming very seriously on a certain game.
hmm
And so, just us saying, oh, well, it's old, let it go, that's not really enough for them. It
I
wouldn't
know.
be enough for me either. It's the same reason people still play Street Fighter 2. You know what I'm saying? People
Yeah, I
just,
mean that's
their skills get to a certain point, and, it's two things. They do want to genuinely play that same game because they enjoy it. But, why let go of all that glory? You know what I'm saying? Like these excellent Melee players, they have reputations and stuff that they have to uphold. So, to switch to a new game where they may or may not succeed like they did with Melee or Brawl or Smash 64. I mean,
yeah, that's a good insight on that. Just for me personally, I just looks it's so silly of an idea for me as non-competitive person. Like
hmm
it just looks crazy to me to still be playing on the GameCube. But what about Mewtwo? Anybody have any thoughts on if if he's there? Do you think we'll
He might be.
get him soon? I mean,
I
I
mean,
think
I
he's
would.
coming around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I would say because I think we're gonna get him around March, to be honest.
Yeah.
The same time when we get the soundtracks, or when they finally ship it out, and then we get it like 6 months later. But the thing, I would see where they're gonna show him in like some beta form. You know, they usually do this with any kind of fighting game, where they show off a character that's probably gonna come in later or as DLC or something like that. They showed like the beta, like recently with Killer Instinct, even though they kind of do this all the time, they showed the latest character Omen. It was just beta form still though. So I can see with this that they're probably gonna show off Mewtwo. We really don't know because Nintendo could be sponsoring because they sponsored Evo and they sponsor something else. They sponsor another fighting game tournament kind of place. But just because they're funding it doesn't mean they're gonna show anything. But it would be a great opportunity to kind of put that in there, just to at least be like, okay, here's Mewtwo, here's his new stuff, and there you go. And this is when it's going to be available with the patch, finally, after all these time.
yeah,
So,
I think we'll get that at the same time too. I would think.
yeah, because it's about time we get some tournament modes and some fixes to this game, and also this character. So
Mhm.
definitely would be great to happen there. Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about them taking this approach? Like I don't think they've ever really shown up at these competitive events before.
Honestly, this is how I see it. They don't really care about the players. They actually just, I mean, come on, it's business sense, man. Advertisement. It's perfect.
Well, I mean, it's advertising, and you're advertising to the people who are buying the product. So of course they
Yeah.
care about the players. They have to. I mean, what's worse, showing that you don't care but not acknowledging it, or showing up? So when people say they don't care about the players, I don't really get that, because they're providing you a service and furthering your ability to do what you love. So when people say that, it kind of, honestly, it bothers me. You know what I'm saying?
I don't. Yeah, I think they know enough. How else would
If
D1
they didn't care, they wouldn't be there. They haven't cared for a long time, and now they're seeing the truth. And of course, it's good for business. So they're saying, okay, it's good for business, and we get to serve our customers in a way that that's going to be lasting and appealing. Like they can never say we never did anything for them. And I got a feeling this is going to continue into the future.
Yeah, I think
So,
E3 was the start last year.
now, if they suddenly stop next year and we don't see any activity from them in terms of the competitive scene for another 5 years, or, then yeah, you can say that. But I don't even think you can really say that then. I mean, that's money out of their pocket. It's not like we, gave them money or begged them to do it. They just did it. So.
And and it's working because Smash 4 is like featured at Apex, significantly. But I guess Melee has the biggest amount of entries it's ever had with like 1,024.
And that also proves that they care because they could easily be like, oh, well, we're not going to do Melee. We got to do the new one because we don't want to cannibalize the new one. They could have done that, and that would have shown, oh, yeah, they just bought their money. But they didn't do that. They're behind the Melee, too. You know what I'm saying?
All 4 versions are actually there. They're scheduled. So that's pretty cool. And it's awakened, like, it's opened my eyes up. I never knew of Apex until now. Like it's got a double effect. It's Nintendo fans know about these competitive things, and it's letting the competitive people say, hey, here we're going to show you this. We're going to give you guys some insider info, and we're going to show you this character first. And I'm sure that it's a smart, like you said, it's like Mega said, it's definitely a smart business idea. But Nintendo, they definitely do things a little more. They're a little more honest about the way they approach things like this, I think. And it feels more genuine, but also it's them learning too.
Yeah.
What's up, Shadow?
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, glad you joined us. We were just talking about Apex and Nintendo kind of making themselves known finally in the fighting scene and in the competitive scene. So if you want to do a quick intro and then give your thoughts on the potential of Splatoon being at Apex and Mewtwo being at Apex.
Okay. Just Shadow Fox and everything. I would imagine I don't need an introduction if I've done my job well. But Nintendo's been doing this. Actually, I think it's been about maybe a year and a half. I think. They kind of unofficially supported Melee at more than one Evo, and then the last Evo was the one that made a big stink because they at the last minute pulled it, and then did a Microsoft 180 and at the last minute said, okay, yeah, you can put it back in. So
people were still crying.
Yeah, now this is the official. Nintendo is at the forefront. Yes, you can have this game here kind of situation. So to me, I think that Nintendo's kind of stepped away from that since, like, the play it loud mantra from the mid '90s, and since they didn't really have anything, they never really thought of, say, Smash Brothers as a super competitive game like that. It was more like, hey, this is kind of a family friendly fun. You could have your favorite characters duke it out or whatever. They never imagined that type of game would be played the way that it's played, the way that Twilight and games play it sometimes, and I try, but I'm nowhere near as good as them. That's why Killer Instinct exists for me. So, but yeah, it's good to see that they're doing that. I don't know if that means that they're trying to go back to the play it loud type marketing. I don't think that's going to happen unless they license another game that they deem is hardcore like that. That's going to be competitive. Splatoon might be it, but it's going to depend on how well it's received and how active it is online, but that could be it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they would bring Splatoon there. But like I said before, a lot of these competitive teams, they have their fighting guys, and they also have like their Call of Duty first-person shooter guys. Like there's these big teams that have players of different genres. So I think it's a smart move to bring it there, and maybe it will take off like that, but maybe it won't. I mean, I'm going to play it for fun, no matter if it's competitive. If competitive,
take it, but in that game, because that's a very different game, and it seems like there's multiple ways to be competitive because you can take land a certain type of way. You can try to get a kill streak as much as you can to suppress other people. It seems like there's more than one way to hatch the egg, if you will.
Yeah, looks like a lot of strategy and a lot of ability to move your character in many different ways to get like strategic advantage. Like I seen like one of the clips showed spraying the ground and like going through a fence in squid form and then popping up on the other side behind somebody really quick, and the person was turning the camera as they did it. It was really, you could tell it was an advanced move, but
Yeah.
I see a lot of potential there. So
I'm kind of wondering because based on that footage, what you were talking about, it seems to me like you don't even really have to be confrontational to win the game. Really,
No.
'Cause as long as everybody's on the same page and everybody, adjusts to their role, you don't even really have to necessarily attack the aggressors. You just have to make sure that you're, it's like one giant game of what they call that? I guess it's what they call it in Halo, where you have to stand your ground or whatever. It's basically that, but you're doing it all over the map. So
yeah, that's the one main game mode that they're showing us. I think that'll be the main draw to the game, is paint as much area, and win the battle of how much ink gets put on the map. So we'll see how people play it. Hopefully, if people play it right, or there's going to be people that are just going for kills and lose the game every time. I bet. I guarantee we'll see that. But
yeah, I do want to see that, and I want to see that in the professional landscape as well. I don't want to see how people take to that, because it's probably going to be drastically different from what we expect. There'll probably be some kind of technique that they're going to abuse and that kind of stuff. So,
it's always
it all
amazing.
depends on how the game matures competitively.
Yeah.
It could take up to a year to really know.
So hopefully, the community gets in and plays it online, so there's a big enough community, so we don't have the Call of Duty on Wii U problem where there's 1,800 people in the whole world playing. You need more diversity. You need more people to have more game modes filled out. And
that's up to Nintendo to build hype for that game, man.
Out of the 1,800 people in the world playing that game, 1,000 of them are Conduit 2 players, and they're all playing with Wii remotes, and it's all bad for anybody new trying to go do analog.
It's hard to beat the Wii remote nunchuck guys with the analog sticks. So,
and that's the question. Will that, y'all think that'll have Wii remote nunchuck compatibility in that game?
Yeah, I was wondering about that too, because the way they were playing with just one Wii remote.
I've only seen it played with the gamepad, so they haven't said.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they really haven't played anything with any other type of controller except the gamepad.
Okay.
So we don't know. But the thing is, it would be a great option to have that control feature, because you're pointing, so it's better.
On the live stream though, they were playing with Wii remote and nunchuck, and one guy was just playing with the Wii remote. I don't know how, but he was. And that was on one of the live streams they had when Bill Trennan was walking the floor and stuff, and people were playing.
I don't know how he was doing that either.
Yeah, one dude was playing with a Wii remote by itself, and two other people were playing with Wii remote and nunchuck, and one person had the gamepad. It was kind of interesting. I'll have to look it up, but that kind of piqued my interest, because I'm like, how are you?
Unless the guy had a balance board under him, because there's no other way you can move. To be honest, I'm just saying, because there's no other way you could move if you're pointing at the screen like that.
I think maybe that was just some guy holding one and wasn't actually playing. But I'd like to see evidence of that, because everything I've seen has just been the gamepad. And people were complaining because they had the gyro forced, that you had to use it to aim or to look up. I mean, so they said that was going to be optional, but everything I've seen that was kind of forced at E3. But we'll see if they show it. If it shows up at Apex, I think we'll hopefully learn some information about it.
I mean, you never know. We're gonna get probably tons of information because the game's coming so close. We thought it would come probably summer, but it's coming in May, so it's perfect.
That could be summer if it's May 30th.
I'm about to say they might do Mario Kart.
Oh my god. Well, if it's on the 25th, that's fine, because that's my B day anyway, so it's alright.
Hey, I got Smash on my B day, so beat that. Coupon's been quiet here. Any thoughts? Anything you want to add here? Or?
Not really.
Okay. Before we get to the main topic, I do want to throw out this little bit of information. The Majora's Mask 3DSs, everyone's known that Best Buy and GameStops were going to cancel people's pre-orders if they bought more than one. I only pre-ordered one, and unfortunately, well, not really, but they sent me an email on Sunday saying that they canceled my pre-order due to a lack of stock, and they apologized, and I was going to be upset about it, but I'm kind of a roll with the flow kind of guy, and never really get mad. I read the bottom of the email, and it says use this promo code before I think the 29th to get $50 off a black or red new 3DS XL. And I jumped immediately on BestBuy.com, and I got me a black one for $158 out the door, shipped to my house. So I'm pretty damn happy about that. That's a really good price. And so I'm wondering if anyone else had any problems with their 3DS pre-orders watching this video. You know, leave the comments. If it wasn't Best Buy, if it was GameStop, did they offer the same promotion, $50? I mean, so that's probably a pretty big hit somebody's taking, whether it's Nintendo or Best Buy.
I'm hearing people who did get theirs canceled by not Best Buy, but GameStop didn't get anything.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Well, if they only ordered one, I'd be mad about that. But if it was somebody that ordered three, I wouldn't expect them to get.
Well, here's what GameStop messed up. Here's what GameStop messed up with the limited editions. Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is in the background.
There's a little bit of background.
GameStop put out an advertisement where it was like, okay, you trade in your 3DS XL and your old 3DS, and you get $100 toward the new one. Well, they didn't mention anyone, and of course you could assume it, but that's not safe to say. But you thinking, okay, I can go and get $100 off the limited edition. You know what I'm saying? And so I went to GameStop thinking that, and that was not the case. And so a lot of people go in there thinking they can get, $100 off the limited edition, aren't going to get that anymore. They're just going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to just get a regular one for $100. You know what I'm saying? So the people who are thinking that they can get, the pre-orders for that one, they're not going to get those pre-orders anymore when they go to the store. You got to pay in full for the pre-order as well. You don't have to do the paid in full for, the regular 3DS. I didn't. So, I mean, that's naturally going to dissuade people from buying those. And so GameStop isn't going to order a lot of limited edition. You know what I'm saying? Because they're engaging in some confusing advertising. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I think
they order their merchandise based on how many people are picking them up. You know what I'm saying? And so they see it's not a lot of traffic in regards to the limited edition, so they're not going to order a lot of limited editions. But that's kind of like their fault. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they put them back up today for about an hour. They put the Monster Hunter one back up, and it sold out again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also, I guess, and they like to say, and it's probably true, they like to say they never know with Nintendo what they're going to ship out to us. But I think that if they order them, they could get them. You know what I'm saying? I honestly believe that.
They had to have worked out the deal beforehand and figured out a quantity beforehand, you would think.
Exactly. But they act like they only ordered, like, they only got, like, we only get one of them. I'm like, well, but you just told me that you order them based on how many people are pre-ordering them. So that's not true. You didn't just get one. Anyway.
So what did you end up getting?
I got the black one.
Okay.
And I got to go to the store when it comes out and give them $100, and then I'll have the black one.
See, the limited edition ones, they will not let you pick it up in the store. My friend was going to do it. They said they'll ship it to you, like, after they get it, so you'll get it, like, a week later. It was just,
no.
That makes no freaking sense.
I know. It was stupid.
It's like, I got a call because I'm good. You meet those good GameStop employees, right? So I got Buddy, right? I told him, let me know when, any of these kind of, when you get probably Majora's Mask, limited editions, stuff like that. So he told me, I got a call from him, and he's like, yeah, we got more pre-orders for the Majora's Mask 3DS. Would you like to place your order? I was like, heck yeah. So I could just go and just place $100? No, you have to pay it in full. I'm like, what? But he did tell me I can still do the whole trade my 3DS in. He did tell me I could still do that for some reason. So I don't know if that's just their GameStop or your guys' GameStop where they're telling you some false prophecy. But for me, he told me that I can still do the whole trade-in thing. But I was like, yeah, that was kind of my plan, and I need to transfer everything, right? So
Yeah.
now I just went with the red one. I'm done. I'm just screw it.
What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna transfer mine, and then I'm gonna ask everybody I know if they want a 3DS XL in almost brand new condition with 10 months left on its warranty, or and then if they don't, nobody wants it, I'll throw it on Craigslist for 120.
You know what's funny though? You don't really need to transfer your 3DS anymore. The way it stores information, everything is on the SD card.
Is it?
So that's just something for future reference that y'all ought to know.
It has that
It's just the
transfer
way,
feature.
yeah, the way that it works though, is that you need to have all that information because the thing is the save data, everything is locked to that console, so you have to transfer everything. That's the
Well,
problem.
the save data on mine was on my SD card, so
So
I
mine
don't know.
too.
Even for the physical games. So I could be wrong, but
No,
Yeah,
because
that
I tried that and it didn't work. Yeah, I had to transfer like my account. I had to transfer all this stuff because they thought I was like probably stealing or something.
Yeah,
So you have to do that.
that's how I believed it to work, because that's how the Wii U works, and I'm surprised the 3DS.
Yeah.
we'll see.
So
We shall
there's a
see.
potential you might have to contact Nintendo and see if they could help
I
you.
mean,
It depends. When I put that SD card in my new 3DS and it doesn't work, then I'll call them. But I mean, I'm literally sitting there looking at all the data on the 3DS.
Yeah, it's definitely the
There's
data.
nothing on the system. There's like nothing on the system data. It's all on the SD card. So we'll see.
Well, I hope that works out.
it's
so,
like
Me too.
that's why I'm liking that they have a micro SD on the new one because the thing is where you put, let's say if you put just 8 gigs or 32, you don't need to take that out anymore. Because they have this new thing on there where it's like, okay, you can transfer automatically from PC.
yeah, Wi-Fi
to,
backup.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's perfect. So you don't have to keep taking it, unscrewing it, and all
But you
that
need
stuff.
a screwdriver. Come on.
That's the thing where people get so confused, but it says it right on the freaking box. That's the
And
problem.
if you're never going to download games, that 4 gigs will be so much more than you'll ever need.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's not get into that. Let's get to the main topic, and then we'll do some questions, Q&A at the end. So I want everybody to list 1 or 2, possibly 3, of their favorite game genres. And like once you name your favorite genre, you can go number 2 first, then number 1. Say what you like about it, the mechanics, or what makes you really like that style, that genre, and what does a great game in that genre have to be a great game? What? So if somebody wants to start off, otherwise I'll name somebody. But if somebody's rearing ready to go,
Could you repeat that really quick? I'm sorry.
Okay, favorite genres. 1 for sure. If you can't name more than 1, but definitely if you got 2 or 3, go ahead.
Okay.
Name them in any order you want, and then something why you like that genre, and what a great game needs to have to be a great game in that genre. What are the core things that have to be in place for that to be a great game in your
I volunteer coupon.
I was gonna go anyway since I've been quiet this whole time.
All right. Ladies
I
first,
only-
anyway.
I only have really just 1 right now that I can say. It's been a while since I've actually had any of the genres that I'm really like head over heels crazy about. So for me, it would be rhythm, music, types of games where you require hand and eye coordination, feet, eye, hand, body, all that stuff for coordination. And kind of like DJ Heroes, Just Dance, freaking hip hop dance experience, DDR, all that stuff, taiko drum, all that. I love them all. I love anything that has music, anything with rhythm that requires a lot of. And I guess the best thing for me, like the thing I like out of it, is the music has to be on point, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, as many of you probably have known, if you've seen any of my videos way back when, I was upset over taiko drum because they used Americanized music, which it should have been Japanese, because it's basically a Japanese thing. So the music has to match what that actual game is about. Hip hop dance you're saying hip hop, so I assume the game is gonna have hip hop music. If I'm sitting up here dancing to pop music all the damn time, I'm kind of like, what? So the music is the biggest thing for me. It has to work with what you are providing. You got DJ heroes, you have mixes, and different kinds of music being put together and all that good stuff, and it's weird and fun, and I love it. So for me, yeah, music games, rhythm games, anything of that nature.
What's the cream of the crop of a music genre game for you? What's the benchmark, the best, the top of the tier for you, that game that sets the mark for
like the mechanics or something,
just
or just
what game? What game was the cream of the crop for you? What does it the best?
Oh, for me? Okay. Right now, Hip Hop Dance Experience is still at the top. That's the one I like the most.
All right, so that's definitely going to be different than everyone else's, but that's cool. That's why I was hoping to get a variety. That's why I kind of picked the guess I did to get more of a variety. So Mega, why don't you? Can you pick 2, 3, or?
I'm good. I'll just go with 3 because it's too many. Okay. First, of course, RPGs. All right, that's a given. I just love them because, especially when you get open world ones and you just get the feeling with the story and the music, and it just blends all together nicely. You get that feel, it's beautiful, it's bliss.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really like about RPGs, and of course the strategy within it. And I like that you gotta level up your character. You can customize your character in certain RPGs too, and JRPGs and all that. But it's really cool. I just love the fact that it also gives me a sense of adventure. I love that fact. That's my main thing I love about it. It gives me that fantasy adventure that I would always want. That's what I mean. So
you're like a dream RPG for you would have Rosalina in it, since you said.
Oh my god. I guess so.
Oh god.
Now my
so before we move on, what is a definite mechanic in a open world RPG that has to be there for it to be like a great exceptional game? What's something that's really crucial to making that?
An open, I would say the most crucial thing, now that not everybody might have their own different kind of opinion on this, or any kind of thing that they find broken within RPGs that happen. It's just you don't mess up the battle system. That's one thing you don't mess up, because that's key.
No.
That is key to the game. The key to the game is the battle system, because how the heck do you progress to anything? So do not mess that up. And really, stories mess up too and stuff, but the battle system is key. If you mess that up, it's over.
Okay.
So
right.
That's basically it.
All right, what's your next one?
Now, my next one is 2D action side scrollers. I really, loved the 2D action side scroller, of course, Mega Man ZX and Mega Man Zero, and recently a Zoro Striker Gunvolt. And there was other action ones. Hold on, getting the Contra.
Contra was
yeah,
one.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Contra.
Contra, they're just so much fun, especially because they're fast paced, and you're doing all these, especially in let's say I would say my favorite ones would be in Mega Man Zero, because you get to do all this freaking crazy stuff. You get to have a gun and a sword at the same time, so it's really awesome. You can do all these combinations and everything. So and it was really fast. I loved it. And of course basically, with those kind of games, you have to have a lot of really good, of course, action and really good move sets and everything for the character as they progress through the game and such. So, yeah. Now my third. It's gonna be. I would have to say it would be somewhat of. This is really hard.
You want us to come back to you?
I'm just gonna say it. Basically, action games, right? Because I was choosing between two, that's why.
Okay.
But action games really bring it out, because especially recent examples, Bayonetta, right? Bayonetta 2. We also have Devil May Cry. We also have
Ninja Gaiden.
excuse me, Ninja Gaiden. I would count Hyrule Warriors as an action game because honestly, they're doing a bunch of freaking stuff. Um, and I just love them for this main reason. Them sexy combos. I just love it when these guys come up with these combos that are just freaking like they look so good that when you pull them off, you like, dang, I just did that. And I love, of course, their fast pace. Also, that's what every action game really kind of should have. Of course, not every, but it's because it just gives you that feel of you're going through a bunch of enemies and just being this like boss guy and just going insane. But yeah, I mean that's really a good way, and especially make sure you get the music right, because the music is also a touch of getting that feel of the action. So there you go.
Awesome. All right, Shadow Fox. I'm gonna guess one of them is gonna be fighting.
You would be correct, sir.
If you want to take it away, whatever you got, go ahead.
I'm also a copycat, so the RPG segment is also one of my favorites. And the reason why is because there's so many different flavors of them. So I really couldn't say that there's a best, because since you have MMOs, you have Western RPGs, you have JRPGs, you have RPGs that technically don't cater to any one of those. Because there are some things that are like life sims. Like technically, Football Manager 2012 is an RPG. So it's pretty much RPG. Really, in essence, defines almost every video game because you're really taking the role of somebody at some point. But the traditional RPGs, as they are, be them MMOs or Western RPGs or the traditional JRPGs, whether you're grinding or exploring or doing different things to gain experience, and there's a feeling of accomplishment with not necessarily leveling up, but becoming more knowledgeable and stronger along your journey. So I guess some of the notable ones, you have the RPG of all time, which would probably be a tie between World of Warcraft and EverQuest, and you got your standard Western RPGs that have started from things like Baldur's Gate all the way up until the latest of the BioWare games, and you got your JRPGs, and I really don't even need to go down the list with that because everybody knows what all those are, but they kind of it's really great when you play a game and you feel so much wiser and by the time you're done with the game, not necessarily because of story, but because you learn the game's mechanics and how to fight against not only enemies that are way weaker than you, but enemies that are could easily kill you if you don't know what you're doing. And even towards the end of some of these games, when you're like clearly overpowered in some areas, there's still a certain way you need to fight to keep from losing, and that's one of the key things I like about those kind of games, and that's kind of to me that kind of leads into the fighting thing, because you basically learn how to play the game, which is the point of any video game. You find out instructions as you go. There's a way that they want you to play it, and you figure it out, and that's part of what makes games as fun as they are.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, man. I was just real quick, like you said, you start off with a game and you don't know what they want you to do. You don't know what mechanics are there, unless you've done a whole lot of research. I remember BioShock was something I went into blind pretty much, and by the end I'm using all those whatever the plasmids or whatever I was expecting a shooter, and here I am. I'm setting people on fire, and I'm using all these mechanics that I didn't know were in the game, but by the end of the game, it taught me everything, and I was become really like a master of those mechanics, and it was just like a great progression from starting out as a basic shooter to turning into something a whole lot more. So I was glad you brought that point up. So continue.
Fighting is obviously what I like the most. The fighting game genre right now is having a problem. And the problem they're having is a lot of fighting games released now are trying to be too complex for their own good. The only reason, that advanced play exists right now in tournaments and things like that is because people had so much fun with the core game itself. So if you think about it, at the very beginning, the very first combo in a fighting game was an accident by Capcom. So because people loved Street Fighter 2 so much, that sort of thing kind of happened. And it became a core staple of the game itself. So from the very first 2-in-1 to 250 hit ultra combos and Killer Instinct, there a different way to play a fighting game has happened. It's no longer a chess game where I do this hit and you do this hit. Everything now is strategy. It's all about spacing, timing, basically outmaneuvering and outthinking your opponent. Basically doing a series of things to force your opponent to do something they don't want to do. And that's technically almost like real fighting. Mm-hmm. But the way that things are now, things are starting to become so complicated, and so many other game systems are thrown on top of the core fighting. I'm starting to think they're going to lose their way. I hope they don't. But I'm starting to see things, and as much as I like Killer Instinct, I'm starting to see a lot of things that they're adding into the game that I think is going to get a lot of people lost. Because, a lot of people can learn to master all of that stuff, but what new things are going to be found if people don't stick to the basics, if you will? So why am I? What incentive do I have to learn new things with Ryu and his basic moveset if there are 90 different special moves he can do that are already pre-programmed in for me to find out? What kind of motivation is there for me to go out there and find that? Like at this point right now, the games come with frame data now. So you're sitting there, you're playing the game, and you going into practice mode, and there's frame advantages for every move in the game already listed. If all that stuff is already there, that kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it. Because the whole point of playing a game like that and getting as detailed as a lot of people do, especially in Smash, is finding out all the weird nuances. So, this kind of thing doesn't happen in other fighting games now, because now it's mostly documented. But people now are, like on GameFAQs and stuff like that, are trying to figure out the percentages of glitches basically in the new Smash Bros. That's out right now, because in some characters, depending on who you're fighting with, you'll get a random tumble animation to come out. Depending on, there are some moves that guarantee it, but you could do a random smash move and all of a sudden they're in an unrecoverable tumble. And if you're able to take advantage of that, you're able to basically, anybody that you're fighting, you don't even have to edge guard. You can just do that one move and they'll tumble and they can't recover. So the thing about that is that I've seen that happen with the same move and it not be successful more than once. It's completely random right now, and people are trying to figure out the percentages with different characters, where they are, what move they just came out of before it happened, and stuff like that. That kind of stuff is what makes the community active and makes people like the game. And that's not really existing in more of the mainstay fighting games that are out right now. Your Virtua Fighters, your Street Fighters, and things like that. Everything's there already. Like, you just literally go into the pause menu and it's all there. I kind of wish you can kind of go back to basics on that. I don't mean to make this a fighting game rant, but I'm just hoping they go back to basics so people can just say, hey, here's this fighting game that we know nothing about other than a list of special moves. Let's play it and have fun with it. And if doing that is fun, then everything else is going to follow after that. So the quote-unquote advanced play is going to come from people that play the game and love the game so much that these are the things that they're doing. Instead of, hey, they preloaded all this metadata for me to go ahead and interpret, so let me study this game like it's homework instead of actually having fun with it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Street Fighter 2 for me, I remember doing like the drop kick and then doing a low kick like with Ryu, and then doing my own combos when there wasn't combos. So yeah, let's not make this too much more about fighting. I want to get to Twilight.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
That's all right,
Yeah,
man. You're
that's
passionate.
not no problem. I wanted to say something on that subject actually.
Okay.
That's the problem I have with a lot of the competitive Smash community. Even is kind of like this. They have a similar attitude to, I guess, the communities of a Street Fighter and anything like that, where they kind of have this established precedent over what the stats of moves and everything should be, all the intricate details of the moves and everything, and so they think that every other game should match what they've been playing forever, and they don't want to take the time out to learn new mechanics and stuff like that, and that's the problem I'm having. It makes me wonder, like, if they, because it's kind of like a reverse effect with Nintendo. Like, they're not gonna do the whole frame
No,
measuring thing.
they want it to be
They're just not gonna do it. Exactly. They want it to be fun, but it's like, even when you have a company doing that, you still got dudes like a lot of competitive smashers who, go through the trouble of putting down the game because it doesn't have those features. I think if it was up to them, Smash Brothers would definitely have those features that you're talking about that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's more of a mentality to me, and I don't like that. But to go into my favorite games, of course, fighting games are my favorite genre, and what makes them my favorite, well, I mean, not my favorite genre, but one of my favorites, and what makes a fighting game good is the weight behind moves for me,
Mm-hmm.
and the flashiness of it all. I mean, like the
by
level
weight.
of,
You mean the impact, right? Like the hit.
yeah, like what does it feel like when a character hits another character? Like Street Fighter 2, I hate it because I feel like I'm hitting a beanbag or something. You know what I'm saying? When I hit somebody. But that was just the limitation of the hardware, and the software and everything like that of that day. They couldn't really make it feel like the remote wasn't rumbling every time you hit somebody and shit like that. So, that's part of it. Oh, I'm sorry. But also the style and character selection, and the uniqueness of the different characters and everything like that. It plays an important role. And how much of your own DNA you can put into the game. So if everyone's forced to fight the same way in a fighting game, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like stilted fighting games at all, where there's one character that everyone likes to use a lot, and they all look exactly the same when playing it. You just the skill gap is simply based on how well they take advantage of a certain set of advantages and disadvantages of a character. And so everyone's doing the same shit, but it's just one person does it faster than the other. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Smash Brothers, even in the most competitive range, it doesn't. I mean, it does at the highest tiers. I mean, I know I see competitive Smashers play, and they do all look the same to me. But when you're really looking at like the semifinals and everything like that, like Smash Brothers doesn't suffer from that because everybody has kind of like a unique style. But like I see Street Fighter and stuff a lot, and I'm just like, really, like it'd be the over and over, and a bunch of Hadokens just being thrown at each other, meeting in the middle of the screen, like that's garbage.
I think Third Strike was the last time it was actually kind of different, and that was only because they were forced to, because you had to pick your own style and super. So that was probably the last time it was actually different like that.
Yeah. So that's my turn-ons with a fighting game. Also, of course, you got the platformer, which a lot of people haven't really talked about in this segment, but platformers are important to me. You know what I'm saying? And of course, Nintendo has been, at the forefront of that for the longest. But I mean, Crash Bandicoot in a way, Spyro the Dragon, certain games that have platforming elements. It's all really, I think that's a really important part of gaming that has been kind of forgotten in favor of the third-person action game. It's kind of like been replaced by those kinds of games now. But Banjo-Kazooies and stuff like that, it's just something about being able to roam around in that way and just jump around that really thrills me, and it doesn't.
What's your favorite, 2D or 3D? Do you have a favorite?
My favorite is actually 2D, but 3D comes a close second. It just depends on the execution. You know what I'm saying? For me, they're two very different experiences in and of themselves. Yeah, so 2D is a lot less. It's linear, obviously. You know what I'm saying? 3D platforming is not as linear. So that's important to note. But my favorite platform, 2D and 3D, favorite 2D platformer, I'd have to say is Super Mario World,
Mm-hmm.
Super NES, and my favorite third person, 3D platformer. And I guess I'm going strictly off of nostalgia on this one because technically it's not all that good. But Spyro the Dragon, just because of the style and the uniqueness of that game and that universe, that first one
Spyro was
especially.
cool.
Spyro was just, I mean, there has not been and there probably never will be, given how, boring the industry is right now, including Nintendo. There probably isn't going to be another 3D platform or anything like that ever. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. So, what's like one or two things that a platformer absolutely
Okay.
has to have?
It has to have solid mechanics. So Spyro had the charge and the fire, the flamethrower, and it was simple. And you could do a lot of different things with that. The game has to be able to, apply some simple mechanics to a lot of different situations. That's where Mario succeeds. That's where Spyro succeeded. That's where Crash succeeded. So that to me shows skill on the developer's part. And it's fun, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about, how do I use this new skill, you know what I'm saying, in order to advance. I know what I can do, and how can what I can do apply to this new situation. So I like that a lot. And also, of course, again, the weight and feel of the character. You know what I'm saying? The movement and how they move and how they feel. How do they, land and when they hit somebody, how does it feel? All that stuff is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I don't want to feel like I'm hitting a bunch of,
You can save some of that because platformers on my list. So if you don't want to say everything,
yeah,
save something for me.
Go ahead, man. I'm done.
Do you have another genre that you like, or?
The other genre.
I mean, you don't have to. I only have two myself.
RPGs, but we've talked about RPGs enough. Yeah.
All right. So for me, and this is kind of a vague genre, but the adventure genre, which a lot of games can fit in there. You got action adventure. You got I don't know, more like almost platformers can have adventure to them. But I just like like the Zeldas. And of course, I forgot to write down all my examples that I thought of earlier. I just like exploration, but I'm not a huge fan of open world games, so it's kind of confusing to some people. But I like to be able to go off the path a little bit and look around, find hidden things. Collectibles is a kind of a thing I like in adventure games. I would probably classify other than Zelda, I'm trying to think right now. Like Okami was kind of a Zelda-ish type of game, but there's so many games like I said, I'm drawing a blank at this very moment. Metroid Prime, I'd consider that an adventure game with the first-person perspective. Games like that, I really do enjoy that, and for some reason the open world games just don't get me because I just don't like. I think they're too big. There's too many mundane tasks. I like a little more focus. And then so of course controls got to be good because that could really ruin a game like that, especially like a third-person. Camera controls and everything got to be good. But it's got to be in a world I want to explore. Like just because there's some treasure chest on this level, if the level's boring, I'm not gonna want to go find it. So there's got to be some intrigue to the level design, to the environment, and I just like that part of it the most.
Can I speak on that real quick, Terminator?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because Adventure actually was my that was my third actually before we got into the fighting game Rat Hole. But the one thing I wanted to mention about that was I don't really have a favorite because pretty much all the ones that I like are going to be my favorites because of the one thing, and that's here's the thing that makes them great. You first start up an adventure game, right? And you get to that moment where you walk into this large area, and right then at that point you're going to explore all of this. You have no idea what you see in front of you, but by the end of the game, you know every nook and cranny of it, and it's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of my thing I wanted to touch on before we went in the rat hole. But go ahead and continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like first time you saw Hyrule Field in Ocarina of Time, those kinds of moments. So I hear someone's playing Smash. I
Yeah.
got two guesses. Mega's mic's muted, so it's not him. So my number one favorite genre, if I had to pick, is going to be platformer. And Twilight said a lot, but I don't like, just because the game's a platformer doesn't mean I'm going to like it.
Oh, hell no.
It's got to have, first and foremost, the controls got to just be precise. They have to be tight. That is the number one. Without it, it's not even worth playing after that. But it can have great controls. It also has to have good level design that challenges you, and it has to be a progression of challenge. It can't just be impossible from the first level on. Like, there has to be some build up, especially like Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, or Returns. Those mechanics are a little bit different. Donkey Kong's got some weight to them, and you got that roll, jump. I mean, there's some depth there. But you have to be able to slowly progress and then build up your skills. If you just if they threw those hard levels at the beginning, it would just be frustration. So it's got to have a good progression of difficulty. I think Nintendo is definitely the master of that. Just look at 3D World. I mean, how easy the first 2 or 3 worlds are compared to the last 3. It's amazing. So controls, level design, definitely, and those are the 2 pinnacles. I mean, the story doesn't matter. The characters aren't as important as the gameplay, and it's kind of why I picked it as my number one, is because I've always been about the gameplay first, and I grew up with the NES, so graphics were never something anyone bragged about. So the game had to be fun from the gameplay and up. Like, that had to be fun from that point. So they built all their games around great gameplay or fun gameplay. So that's kind of how I grew up, and that's why I still love them today. And
it's a perfect example of that. There was a game that came out a while back. I had it on my 360. It was a Metroidvania game, and it was an indie game. I can't remember what it was, but the guy was like, yeah,
okay,
that game. Now it looked great and everything like that, but it was such a straight up ripoff, and it didn't do anything new, from the Metroid formula. You know what I'm saying? That it didn't really matter that the character was new. You know what I'm saying? The character was made to appeal to the first-person shooter crowd because he was, kind of like your typical, not Space Marine kind of guy, but, huh?
He was basically a Contra dude.
Yeah, basically. But it was a Metroid game, really, to me, and it just wasn't that good. It wasn't that fun.
It's
so it does. The characters
something.
really don't. Yeah, the characters don't mean much. It's just, yeah. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, you have to have amazing controls, and the level design has to be interesting. Like, it has to challenge you. You can't just make it either super easy or super hard, because then it's just like, it's not fun. It's got to be fun, I think. And then people can take them real serious and have speed runs and all that, but the core game has to be fun to play, and that's really, and I mean, Mega's 2D action beat 'em ups are games that he likes. I mean, those are similar to a 2D platformer in that, they got to be.
And stuff.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's just a great genre. Like, it's not, like I said, if someone shows me a platformer, like, let's say Shovel Knight or something, I don't immediately just say, oh my god, I got to play that, like every platformer. I don't. It's just like the bar was kind of risen. With Super Mario World, I thought it was one of my favorite Mario games, just like you, at Twilight.
Yeah.
And so the bar was kind of risen there. And
it's so not fair. Since that game came out, it's not really fair at all.
Well, Nintendo waited 15 years to make another 2D Mario game.
Yeah, and it still wasn't fair.
Super Mario Brothers, the original, it was okay. But
yeah,
I think New Super Mario Bros. U is definitely the best of the new series. But so yeah, that's my favorite genre, and of course Mario's the king of platformers. So 3D, 2D. I prefer the 3D myself. That's my preferred. Super Mario 64, Galaxy 1, 2, 3D World, Banjo-Kazooie, all those games definitely are ahead of the 2D style. So let's do a few cute questions here, and then we'll wrap this up. I'm gonna let Coupon answer some questions since she's been a little quiet with us rambling on. So
Go, Diva, go.
let's see. No. Cable Tie 7 asked, do you think Splatoon will do for the shooter genre what Mario Kart did for the racing genre? Or do you think it could? Do you think it will?
It just depends on the people. I mean, for me, I've never really been big on shooters, so it's drawing me in because of its, different take on shooters. So I guess it's doing something good because I've never really been too intrigued by shooters. I suck at them, even though I tried some, and I just suck. So I just gave up on the whole genre altogether. So I can say that Splatoon is definitely it's probably going to bring in a new crowd, people who probably didn't think of shooters to begin with. So I'm pretty sure it'll do something new, and it's taking a more fun approach to shooters. So that's definitely a plus. I think it'll do something good.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of kart type games after Mario Kart was a success. Sony tried it. I think Microsoft even had one or two, and then recently I think we had a little Big Planet one that just none of them could capture what made the Mario Kart so good, but
they forget to capture the fun in it first before trying to get that money.
So I'm gonna have you answer this other question. Oops, I accidentally just deleted it. Not deleted, but I moved it. It's an interesting question. I'm gonna kind of reword the end of it from Anderson Archilla. A lot of people seem very devastated that the Metroid Prime trilogy and Super Mario Galaxy are coming to the eShop as just digital Wii titles, and because that means that HD remakes are probably very unlikely. And his question was, do you think people are being way too greedy? But what I want you to answer is, shouldn't people be happier that we're not going to have to buy a $50 or $60 game? And instead, we can pay $10 and get them. I mean, it's just a digital version of the Wii, digital.
Well, that's where I was gonna go with it anyway. Is if you look at it in this sense, okay, a lot of the games that they could possibly be pulling from the Wii catalog could be those games you're not gonna readily be able to get because they're gonna be at crazy prices on eBay. Is what I'm seeing for the most part. Plus, you can get them pretty cheap. You can play them, and if you're really hard up on some HD remasters or whatever, I mean, I don't know when we became graphic, but I mean, come on, they're still good.
Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah, but Nintendo games, they still hold up to the test of time. So if you really need an HD, remake of a game, if that's what you really want, then I'm sorry, you're probably not going to get it this route. I look at it as Nintendo throwing a bone out there and testing the waters to see how many people purchase these games so they can make a part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, whatever it is they're doing. Come on. The trilogy for Metroid is coming out. If we actually jump on game and buy this, we might get that Metroid everybody's been screaming about. If people have bought the Galaxy 2, guess what? Nintendo might go out there and make Galaxy 3 that everybody's been screaming about. Think of it in that sense and trust and believe. That's what I think they're doing. I think they're throwing a bone out there, they're fishing. They want to see what we're interested in. We might get another Punch-Out because they threw that out there. Come on, Punch-Out. Why would they do that? Just because he's in Smash Brothers? There might be another Punch-Out on the way if we purchase the game. So go get it.
And I miss Punch-Out. I never even seen it before, and I bought it, and it's freaking amazing. Forget who made it. The guys that made Luigi's Mansion 2, I believe.
It was getting perfect scores and stuff.
So I think if anybody else wants to comment, isn't it sad that people just want to complain about what they're not getting instead of, hey, I can get the Metroid Prime trilogy for $10? Yeah, it's the Wii. It's just
always
digital.
Convenient. It's always convenient.
HD remake.
It's it's a digital version.
They made an HD remake. They'd be like, oh well, why aren't they just making a new game?
Yeah, it would take longer to do that, and I think it's just in a sense, it's just easier for them to port it over, get it out there to the public, cheap price, and go fishing. See how many people are interested in this title so they can make an actual new one. Because, I'm sorry, I'd rather have a new game than a remaster. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And if I'm like, Galaxy 1 was pretty much the game of the generation on multiple game sites. I thought Galaxy 2 was far superior. You're getting one of the best games of all time, for me personally, for $10. And then you're getting the best game of all time with its sequels for $10 on Friday or Thursday, which is the Metroid Prime series. Like, why are people mad that they're not going to have to spend $50, $60 for an HD remake? And why aren't they happy that they get to play, unless they already have the Wii version on disc? Because you said port, but technically these aren't ports. They're just digital versions of the disc.
True.
'Cause they just play in Wii mode. They're just
Yeah. Just people, I guess they see what the other guys are doing on, Xbox and PlayStation, and they're like, well, Nintendo should do that too. And Nintendo does their own thing, and some folks they just really want Nintendo to be, they just want triplets instead of twins. And it's like, pay attention to what's going on and stop looking at what you want all the time. Stop being selfish is what I would like to say, because we are selfish as gamers. That's just how we are. We want certain things. We always talk about how we want this, we want that, but look at the bigger picture. Kind of open your eyes and look around and pay attention and just kind of see what it is. Why would Nintendo out of nowhere make this Wii eShop titles and make these games, put them and bring them to the Wii U, so you can play them in Wii mode, essentially? Why would they do that? What are they doing this for?
I think it's probably multiple reasons. One being getting people to maybe buy a Wii remote or something that bought the Wii U and never got a Wii remote. Like, there's so many reasons that maybe they did this, but I just think can't complain about a $10, like one of the best games of all time for $10.
Three of the best games of all time.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's crazy. It's just the mindset people, like, they'd rather have a HD remake for $50, $60 than have the original game quickly available on their Wii U for $10. So,
and then a HD new Metroid game a year or so down the line.
I know that it's coming in 2016. In my mind, there'll be a new Metroid. That's just fun. So, Twilight, I'm going to ask you this, since you were talking about Hyrule Warriors earlier. Do you think the success of Hyrule Warriors, or with the success of Hyrule Warriors, will they make a sequel, and what franchise do you think they should do? I want Pokemon Warriors, and this is from
No, because they've already had the little Pokemon, whatever that is, with the little mini Pokemon.
And now we have
not Pokemon Fighters. Well, that too, but I'm talking about the little Pokemon little thing where they run around. Rumble. That's enough of that. Okay. So, no, the only other game that I would see that really fits the Warriors motif would be Fire Emblem. But I know because Nintendo feel like they got to be, smart Alex and do something unexpected, they'll probably use like Star Fox or something. Who knows?
They'll use Mario.
I hope they don't. But,
they will.
Any chance they'd stay with Hyrule and do a Hyrule Warriors too?
I mean, that's the greatest chance. I mean, I feel that too. But I mean, they're covered all of Zelda. You see what I'm saying? They covered like
that's true.
Every bit of Zelda. So I mean, what more could you really do except for just add a little bit on from the new game, which I feel like they probably are gonna do with Hyrule Warriors. Because I mean, by the time the new Zelda comes out, Hyrule Warriors will only be a little bit over a year old. So there's probably gonna be some new DLC for that new Zelda game.
Yeah.
So I don't really see them doing another another Warriors game with Zelda, just based on the fact that it was so comprehensive. That's like saying, will there be a new Smash Brothers game, in the next couple years?
Yeah, that's true.
No.
So, anybody have any thoughts on a possible another Warriors game with a Nintendo franchise? I mean, I really wouldn't. Other than Fire Emblem, I think those characters would fit it.
Mega Man Warriors.
That would be. That would be quite the deal.
Up to Capcom.
Wait, what'd you say?
You heard me.
Mega Man Warriors.
Of course, you'd have to steal him away
that.
from Capcom.
What about Nintendo Warriors with just a mix?
No.
No, if
they're gonna do something like that, they need to make it a really good, like super good game. I don't want.
No, if they want, they could do a kind of Kid Icarus, but call it something else.
You're right. They could do Icarus Warriors. You're right about that. I forgot about Kid
Just
Icarus.
call it
Yeah, they
Palpatine
could
Warriors.
do that.
I don't know how I did that.
Palatino. Get the frick out of here. Oh man. But
Sky
yeah.
World Warriors.
Alright, yeah.
Let me look for another question. Bear Hugger says that his favorite is JRPG is his favorite genre. Earlier he said it was Princess Peach.
He just said that
Super
to
Princess
annoy
Peach.
me. That's all. He just said that to annoy me. Get help, man. Get some help.
This is a good question. I don't Shadow or Mega. I'll read the question and then you guys, if one of you wants to take it. Besides the famed Super Mario franchise, are there any Nintendo franchises or characters that redefined fun on their systems? Kind of a deep one.
Are there any Nintendo franchises that of the characters redefine fun in their system? I'm not sure about it. It's just like all of them.
Pokemon. Pokemon kind of did redefine fun on the handheld. I think.
Yeah, Pokemon will always be on the handheld because that's where it's best for, and of course the nickname Pocket Monsters. And where do you keep your DS, or would you at least put it somewhere in a pocket, right? So that would actually, that's why they keep it with handhelds most of the time. Mario, freaking every console generation, he just does something and then there you go. we have this every generation. There's gonna be that Mario game that freaking just made it like worthwhile owning that system.
So is the question that it ever existed, or the question is there something that's coming soon?
I think it just means on any of their consoles from the past to the present, has there been like a different franchise other than Mario that just kind of redefined what people thought was fun?
Yes.
But yes, there's been many. Like the 3DS, the one that made it where it's like took advantage of full 3D. It was another Mario game, but Super Mario 3D World. No, 3D Land. Sorry.
But that was Super Mario, so that kind of defeats the question.
I would say the easiest answer was Wii Sports.
Yep, I thought of that.
Wii Sports. Wii Sports is good.
I still feel like to this day, Kid Icarus is.
I would say, well,
Smash Brothers kind of redefined fun on the GameCube.
GameCube to me is basically a Smash Brothers machine, to be honest.
Metroid Prime, I wouldn't say it was exactly all about fun. It was just a really deep and awesome experience.
Yeah.
But that redefined like a first-person style game.
I'm just gonna have to say, I mean, of course there might be that other game, but Nintendo Land kind of does that because it shows off what you can do with the gamepad, right? I don't know, many people are like, what? But that was the game that actually showed what you can do. So
that game has still done more than most other games have done with the gamepad.
Exactly. So that you really can't, be like, oh, why'd you shoot that game? You're garbage.
I think next week one of the topics might be how people want the gamepad to be justified, and then the next, like one of the best games this year to use the gamepad, and everyone's like, oh, that's a kid game, I don't want to play that.
Yep.
Y'all missed one game with this question though.
Okay.
What?
No one seems to remember how much hype was behind Kid Icarus when it was first revealed for the 3DS. To me, and most people don't think about it this way, but to me that game is the flagship game of the 3DS. Because that was the first game to be revealed officially for that system, I believe. And it really took advantage of all of the 3DS. I mean, that felt like a console game to me. You know what I'm saying? Aside from the graphics.
They need to patch that.
That really showed the capability of the system.
They need to add in the C-Stick support and an update, and I'll get it on the new 3DS.
You never played it?
No.
Oh my God, dude, you tripping.
What's the matter with you?
I heard that the camera was hard to control, so I was like,
it's not. You need to not listen to people. People overreact to everything.
Well, I got a video coming tomorrow, a Fresh Juice number 3. I'm going to show off a game that I finally bought.
But it's not Kid Icarus.
It's not Kid Icarus, but it's a stepping stone to my 3DS actually being more primary. Not a primary, but getting used a lot more for.
Well, if you ain't got Kid Icarus, you bullshit. I'm just saying.
We'll see how this game goes, and then I'll take it from there. But
yeah.
So Shadow Fox. Here's a question from Anderson Archilla. any Sony franchise, and this anybody can answer this after Shadow Fox. Any Sony franchise you'd like to see this gen? Sly Cooper and Medieval are on the top of his wish list.
Oh man.
That's kind of hard to say because Sony doesn't own any of those franchises anymore.
Mhm.
So it's kinda, the only thing I could really say is I still want to see more of Infamous. I feel they haven't really really made a solid effort with that. Other than that, man, I'm all with all the old school stuff they used to have that they don't really have the rights to anymore. Stuff like Medieval and I mean, I think at one point in time Sony had an exclusive contract with Shining. So like stuff like MDK was only on like the Dreamcast. That was the only other platform that had it. Those kind of third party exclusives and second party games, you know, those are more of the draws for me. For them, I mean, stuff like, you know, Bushido Blade, stuff like that. Like you weren't gonna get them anywhere else, and it was so like Sony weird, if you will. I mean, there was no real Tenchu before the PlayStation was around. So it, to me, that kind of Sony weirdness is what I miss, and that's what I want.
And it don't exist no more.
Say again?
It don't even exist no more.
Nah, they're super corporate now, but that kind of stuff, that's what made it fun to begin with. I have no problem playing something like Unjammer Lammy. I'm all about the weird stuff.
The rapper, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to see another like a
I'll
proper
never see
Warhawk game. Like I always loved that on the PlayStation 1, Warhawk.
Yeah, and I hate that they tried to make it like a bootleg MMO on the PS3. I was really upset about it.
That was a bad decision. As soon as I knew that, as soon as I
When
heard
I
that,
saw
I knew.
that, I got real happy. I was like, "Ooh, Warhawk," and you know, it just didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So, there's Wipeout, but that I don't even think that's a Sony property. That's not Psygnosis anymore. I think that's somebody else now. But
that series got overdone real quick on the PS1 and 2. I thought they kind of wore out its welcome pretty quickly. But anybody
I think
else?
it's so funny how third-party support is suddenly so important nowadays, but these companies don't have any first-party support, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
That's why. Come on, man.
I think that's just so hilarious. It's so hilarious. The double standard to me is just crazy. Anyways.
I'd love to see Sony get back to things other than Naughty Dog cinematic. You know, Naughty Dog is their best studio, but
Naughty Dog was Crash Bandicoot, though. You know what I'm saying? They're capable of other stuff outside of what they're doing now.
I think they were weren't they Sly Cooper? Didn't they do Sly Cooper series?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I'd like to see, and then Microsoft as well. Somebody made a video recently about the collectible, like really good collectible games for the Xbox Uno, the original Xbox, and they showed off like he had like a list of like 200 exclusive games on that Xbox, and there were so many good games on there, and I was mad that I didn't have them anymore. I had only rented them, or I gave them away or traded them in. And I was like, man, they were so good back then, and that console didn't sell because they immediately went to the 360 4 years later. But there was so many good games. I wish it was more like that. I wish all three systems just had just so many great exclusives. Again, for me that would be like a dream come true.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a dream. It's not going to be a reality, I don't think.
Well, the casualization of everything has turned it into something where the market is real repetitive. You know, everybody's shooting for the same thing. Whereas when it was old school, you know, the exclusives are what sold the system.
Exactly.
I believe, you know.
That's where I came from.
Yeah.
Buying a system for exclusives is kind of now it seems people think it's silly, but I'm going to answer this question since I was just talking about The Last of Us. Cable Tie said, what would you think of A Last of Us 2 and what would you want to see from it? The story was really interesting, and it left me wanting more, but it also was like a great movie that has this ending that doesn't quite fulfill it like what you wanted, but it almost is better because a lot of movies try to have like this fulfilling ending and they ruin it because it's not what you wanted. And I think the way they left The Last of Us could work as just a one-off, never again, and it would work in history. Going back years from now, it would work. But if they definitely could do a sequel, I would like to see a little bit of an improvement to the shooting mechanics. Get rid of the weapon sway immediately instead of having to get through almost the whole game before you got rid of it, and made the game so much more enjoyable.
AI.
The AI for frickin' Ellie would have to
The
get
AI in general.
yeah, it would have to get vastly improved if they're gonna make a sequel. Don't have her running out in front of all these beings trying to kill you, like these, either the clickers or whatever. Just run out right in front of them and they don't get seen, because that takes you out of what they're trying to build. Is this realistic, like tension-filled moment, and then you got Ellie, and then that was his friend, I forget, that you met up in that small town, and he clunk around in his big old boots, and you're trying to be quiet, and he's just like clunk, 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 I had my surround sound on, and he's just clunking around everywhere, and none of the clickers ever heard him. And it takes you out of it. It takes you out of the there's a word for it, and I forget. It's like a really long.
The immersion.
It's that lunonarrative dissonance or whatever, where it takes you out of the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I wish if they're gonna do it, it was a good core game. Like the core elements they gotta stick with. Just improve the AI and try to come up with a story. If they don't have a good story, then don't make another game. If there's nothing more that they can tell us that will impact emotionally and get attached to these characters again, then don't make it. Don't pull Matrix Reloaded and just make it because everybody wanted it, and not have a really good story to back it up. So that's my answer. We'll do like 2 more, and then we'll wrap this up. Let me read through these quick. All right, Tony Karan, and I'm gonna leave this open to whoever wants to take it. If Bandai Namco were to make a Splatoon arcade game in Japan, maybe Coupon should answer this because she lived in Japan. Do you think it would be possible to import the arcade to Dave & Buster's?
What?
That's a really hypothetical, random question,
I have
Tony.
no clue.
If they happen to make a Splatoon arcade game in Japan, do you think they would import it to the U.S.? Like, first of all, would Bandai Namco make a Splatoon style arcade
that's a
game?
good question. And even if they made it an arcade version of it, it depends on how big a success it is out there and how much reception or people screaming over here wants it.
I don't think they'd have to, because if it's a success on the Wii U, I don't know why they would put it in the arcade.
Yeah, I don't know why they would do that either, unless he was saying that if Splatoon wasn't already for the Wii U and it was first started off as one. I don't know, and I don't really know.
I think it's gonna be. I think the better question is, how do we feel the Japanese gamers are gonna take to Splatoon? Because I know a lot of us American and European people are really excited about it. I don't know about the Japanese. Are they going to be excited for this game?
From what I can tell, I mean, I can't really speak for them, but from what I could tell, this isn't the type of game they would be interested in. But there is probably some people who are quite interested and ready to go. But I don't know if it's something that as far as like a mass, because they're mostly handheld, so they probably. I don't know. If it was in arcades, it probably would be something.
Yeah, they bought Smash. I mean, on the Wii U, they quite a few sell, or it sold pretty well.
We'll just have to wait and see, because I really couldn't answer that.
Yeah, that's a pretty hypothetical question. I don't know. That's just speculation. All right, how about music games like Guitar Hero and boarding games like Tony Hawk or 1080 Snowboarding? Those types of games seem to have died trying to be realistic, but I think they should come back as they were in their prime. What do you guys think? I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they came back, but they died because they were such big oversaturation in the market. Like Guitar Hero, you would see a different one almost every other.
It was every year.
I mean, it was like
that was a topic that Chris talked about recently.
Or some expansion pack, and you're like, wait, what? No, stop. You they didn't give us enough time in between the game to enjoy the game for however long before another one came out, at least with Guitar Heroes. And eventually people got tired of it.
Because there really wasn't much to change. Shadow, did you have something you want to add?
Yeah, I think it was Giant Bomb that had they kind of mentioned that apparently like Activision and God, what the name of the people they make Rock Band or Harmonix, the original people, whatever. They're polling around. They're sending out surveys and stuff, trying to see what people's interests are. If they like buying instruments separately, if they like bringing back the DLC from the older versions and stuff like that. For basically, what would they think of a new music game in that not necessarily in that franchise, but basically of that same caliber. And they're obviously gauging where or how they're going to do it. So I see it coming. It's just I don't know if it's going to be the big thing that it was, where all of a sudden there's Rocksmith and DJ Hero and all this other kind of stuff. So it may just only be one brand that's able to stick it out if it does resurface again. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was focusing more on the boarding games than the Guitar Hero when I said it'd be awesome, because I'd love to see like the 1080 snowboarding or the SSX snowboarding games.
I would love an SSX to come back.
Like a good Tony Hawk style game, but that's Activision. They did Guitar Hero, they did Tony Hawk. They ruined both franchises by releasing them every year. And Guitar Hero, you just release a guitar that works, and you could still use the old ones if you had them. You don't need to make a game every year. Just release new songs that people can buy the songs they want, for decent value. That's all it is. They didn't need a new game every year, and that's what killed those off. As far as 1080 snowboarding, I forget, did they do one on the GameCube or the Wii?
Yeah, they did. Avalanche was the last one. It was on
and I never actually got a chance to play that one. Unfortunately, but Tony Hawk, if they brought one back and weren't going to milk the franchise, I'd like to see it come back, because it was a cool game series. But that's from the Highland Gamer. He asked that. Good question. And we'll do. I'll pick one more and then we'll wrap it up. Let me look at them real quick.
Testing. Can y'all hear me?
And there's a couple more added in their long ones. So we and 360 with me. He's been playing many open world games over the days, like Skyrim, Watch Dogs, GTA 5, and more. I compared about the same lengths of the Zelda U footage and the game I was playing. Zelda U took way longer for every single one. Are you alright with how large it is? I don't know exactly what he's talking about. I guess generally he's asking about the size of Zelda. It looks like it's way bigger. I'm fine with it as long as there's a fast travel and as long as there's interesting things to do in that huge game environment. There a lot of those other games, you run into something to do almost constantly. I haven't played Watch Dogs, so I don't know. But Zelda U wouldn't be fun if you just had to spend 15 minutes traversing and there was nothing interesting in between. So I don't know if anybody else had any thoughts.
We don't want no Wind Waker action.
No.
Don't
even
want that.
Wind Waker had those stupid sharks and stuff. Those became an annoyance more than anything.
Yeah.
But
you want something interesting going on, and I feel like they're gonna make sure that happens. I don't think they would advertise this big old open world without fulfilling a sense of wonder. Even with the. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as awesome as everything they showed us look, that'll fade if there's nothing to do. The awe will wear off eventually.
Even in Xenoblade, at some points, I would be like, okay, I'm just ready to get where I need to be. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a thin line they gotta tread.
And I have faith. I've said this since it was revealed at E3 in the video I made after that. Like, I have faith in Aonuma. The confidence he displayed when he was talking about it, and Miyamoto's excitement about talking about it. I think they have something good and they know it. And I trust that they'll make an amazing Zelda game. And adding it, to an open world style game, I think they'll make it work. and they'll show everyone else how it should be done. That's what I've been saying this whole time. So, all right, good questions, everybody. Appreciate submitting those, and everyone who's been watching. I do want to say again, tomorrow I'm going to do a Fresh Juice number 3. I'm going to show off some stuff I got recently, and you'll see tomorrow. I'm going to try a new type of genre, and I got the game. I got it sitting here. It wasn't supposed to be here till tomorrow, but I'll do the reveals tomorrow and some other things I got, so look forward to that. And then the Mario Kart 8 tournament on Thursdays at 9 o'clock. So with that, I'll have my guests just give any final thoughts if they want, or just a sign off, and then we'll wrap this up. So we'll start with the late arrival, Shadow Fox. Go ahead.
All right, it's Shadow Fox, the Road Ninja K9 Descent, and as I always say, do you play games to have fun or to impress other people?
I play to have fun. That's I know it was rhetorical, but I'm gonna.
For fun.
And
Yes.
I've been having lots of
Hooray!
fun. Mega, anything? Any final? Are you too busy playing Kingdom Hearts?
Man, screw you. I'm not playing Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, it's been great. I got some things going on. Like tomorrow, I got my episode. Hopefully, the Amiibos do not start a show, like a scripted show. But yeah, so catch on to that, I guess. And it's been really good speaking here. Love it, and I'll see you guys later.
All right. Diva, take it away.
Yay! Coupon Strives here, Gaming Diva. I got some things coming. Doing a lot more custom amiibo shows, so stay tuned for those. Mirror mode unlocked, so more Mario Kart 8 and screaming and whatnot, rage quits. And pretty much that's all. Just gonna game and pack up as I go.
All right. I'm hoping we get some new Kirby information, and I think the Diva and I are gonna do a Kirby episode. Maybe not on a Monday, because I feel like only a few of us in this community are actually really excited about that game. I know Red Knight is for sure, and I just love to talk about all the unique gameplay I've seen from the little bit that I have seen. So, yeah, I'll try to do something like that. It's got to get some more information, or wait till the game comes out or something. So, we'll try to do something like that. But anyway, Twilight.
It's good.
Anything
Hey, Twilight Bites. I love the Users Loose podcast. Thanks for letting me on. Also, Shadow Fox. If you're online, brother, let's play.
Oh, yeah. I saw you on, but you were playing like offline or something. So
Yeah, I'm gonna open up a room, bro.
Okay.
All right. So great having everyone on. Everyone here's been. They've at least been on once before, so I don't have any new guests this week. But I'm gonna try to mix it up, like I've been saying, every week, because I think it's interesting to me to talk to different people every week. I don't know. I'm a little selfish. I don't know if it's good for the audience or not, but I like talking with new groups, and I think we get different chemistry every time. And really appreciated you guys and Gal for joining me tonight, and everybody who's watched this the whole time. Appreciate that. Started a little earlier than normal, so like I said earlier, if you're wondering why we're done and it's not even 9 o'clock Eastern time, that's why. So, all right, with that, look forward to the Fresh Juice number 3 tomorrow for me. If you're watching this on the replay, obviously it won't be tomorrow for you, but anyway. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.